Story 1. The Mannequin in the Hallway. I was 17 when it happened. My parents had gone to a weekend marriage retreat, leaving me in charge of the house. I was pumped at first. No rules, no curfews, just me, junk food, horror movies, and silence. But on the second night, around 11 p.m., I stepped out of my room and froze. There was a mannequin in the hallway, just standing there. Pale, smooth plastic, no facial features, the blank kind you'd see in clothing stores. Except this one was wearing a tattered wedding dress, stained yellow at the hem. Now, here's the thing. We never owned a mannequin. Ever. I stood there for a solid minute, thinking maybe I was imagining it, or maybe Mom had brought it home for some weird DIY project and forgot to mention it. I slowly walked toward it, and the closer I got, the more I felt like it was watching me. But I shook it off. I'm not a kid anymore, I told myself. I reached out, touched its cold plastic hand, and moved past it into the bathroom. When I came out, it was gone. I thought I was losing it. I looked all over the hallway, the living room, the basement door. Nothing. I figured maybe I'd imagined the whole thing. Sleep deprivation, late-night caffeine, who knows. I went to bed, door locked, lights on. The next night, I saw it again. Same mannequin, same dress, standing in the hallway. But this time, it was facing my bedroom door, like it had been waiting. My heart thudded in my chest. I stepped out. "What the hell?" I whispered. No response. I walked up to it, grabbed its arm, and dragged it outside. Threw it onto the porch and slammed the door. I even locked the deadbolt just in case. 10 minutes later, the power went out. The house plunged into complete darkness. My phone's flashlight barely cut through the pitch black, and as I tiptoed down the hallway to check the breaker, something made a soft thump behind me. I turned around slowly. There it was, the mannequin, inside the house again. This time, it was closer. I backed away, whispering, "No, no, no, no." And that's when I heard it. A tiny click, click, click sound. It was moving its fingers, one at a time. I ran into the bathroom, slammed the door shut, locked it, and didn't leave until morning. The power came back at sunrise. The hallway was empty. I told my parents everything when they returned. They didn't believe me, obviously, but the worst part? I checked the porch. The mannequin I threw outside was still there, untouched. So what the hell was the one inside? Story 2. Don't look at the mirror after midnight. We found the mirror in my late grandmother's attic. It was large, with a gold frame twisted in weird, thorny patterns, like vines with teeth. When we flipped it over, there was something scratched into the wood. "Do not look after 12 a.m. I thought it was a joke. My mom wanted to throw it out, but I begged her to let me keep it. It was creepy, yeah, but in a cool way. Gothic. Perfect for my room. The first few nights, nothing weird happened, but I always made sure not to look at it past midnight, just in case. Until one night I slipped up. I was texting in bed, lost track of time. When I looked up, it was 12:04. I sighed and glanced at the mirror. That's when I saw it. My reflection was smiling. I wasn't. I froze. I slowly waved my hand. My reflection waved back, but just a second too late. Off by a beat, like it was lagging. I closed my eyes and turned away, trying to convince myself I was tired, that my brain was messing with me. But I couldn't sleep. I felt watched. The next night, I covered the mirror with a sheet. But at 12 a.m. on the dot, I heard a whisper. "Look at me." My phone vibrated. An airdrop request popped up. Mirror.jpg. I declined it. Popped up again. Mirror.jpg. I ran over, ripped the sheet off, and there I was. But this time, the reflection had no eyes. Just dark, hollow sockets. Blood started dripping from its mouth. It reached forward from the inside of the mirror and tapped the glass. Tap, tap, tap. I screamed and backed away. And for a split second, I swear it smiled again. Wider this time, like it was proud of me for looking. I threw the mirror out the next day. But sometimes, at midnight, I still hear it whisper from my phone. "Look at me." Story 3. The texts from upstairs. I live in a one-story house. That's important to remember. So when I got a text at 11:41 p.m. that read, "Can you keep it down? Trying to sleep," I figured it was the wrong number. I replied, "Who is this?" The response came instantly. "Upstairs. You're being loud." I froze. I typed, "There is no upstairs. You have the wrong number." Read. No reply. I turned down the TV just in case. Then I got another text. "That's not true. You walked under me earlier. I heard your footsteps." My chest tightened. I walked outside and looked at the roof. Nothing. No lights. No movement. No one. I called my best friend and told him everything. He laughed it off, told me I was being paranoid, and hung up. Then came a photo. A photo of me standing in my living room, taken from above, from the ceiling vent. I dropped my phone and ran out of the house barefoot. Cops searched everything. The attic was small, too small for anyone to be up there, they said. No signs of forced entry. No signs of life. I moved out a week later, but sometimes I get texts at night. "Miss your footsteps."
Story 4. The rule about the back door. It was supposed to be an easy house-sitting job. My friend Casey asked me to stay at her parents' place while they went on a week-long cruise. Big house. Fully stocked fridge. Fast Wi-Fi. I said yes without hesitation. Right before she left, she handed me a small note. "One rule," it said. "Do not open the back door after dark. No matter what you hear. No matter who's knocking." I laughed. "Is this a joke?" She didn't smile. "Promise me." I nodded slowly. "Okay, promise." The first few nights were normal. Quiet. Peaceful. I forgot all about the note. Until night 4. I was watching Netflix when I heard it, knock knock knock, from the back door. I froze. It was 11:47 p.m. Pitch black outside. I peeked through the kitchen window. Someone was standing at the back door. A woman, barefoot, wearing a thin nightgown. Her hair covered her face. I didn't move. She knocked again. Knock knock knock. Then she spoke. In a familiar voice. "It's me. Casey. Let me in." My blood ran cold. Casey was in the Bahamas. She had just posted a photo on her Instagram story. I checked. Yep, she was on a beach sipping a smoothie. The woman outside began scratching at the door. Slowly. Gently. "Let me in." I forgot my key. I backed away and hid behind the couch. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I checked the camera footage from the backyard. There was nothing there. No woman. No knocking. But the scratches were still on the door. The next night, she came back. Same woman. Same voice. This time, she whispered through the crack. "It's so cold out here. Don't you care about me?" I turned off all the lights and hid in the bathroom, covering my ears. But even through the walls, I heard her voice. I'm already inside. I was babysitting for the Hendersons on a Friday night. Their baby, Lily, had just turned 1. Sweet kid. Went down without a fight around 9 p.m. I set up the baby monitor and curled up on the couch with some popcorn and a movie. Everything was fine until 10:36 p.m. That's when the static started. I glanced at the monitor. The screen was fuzzy, but I could still hear the audio. Soft breathing. Shifting. Then, a voice. Not Lily's. Not the parents'. A man's voice. "There you are, such a quiet little thing." I froze. I stared at the monitor, heart pounding. "You don't remember me, do you?" The baby started to whimper. "Shoo, don't cry. She'll hear us." I ran up the stairs 2 at a time, threw open the nursery door, and found Lily sitting up in her crib, alone, crying. I checked the closet. Under the crib. The window was locked from the inside. No one was there. I turned the monitor off. Maybe it had picked up interference, I told myself. That can happen, right? At 11:02 p.m., I heard the voice again. Without the monitor on. "Don't make me hide again." I spun around. It was coming from the baby's toy chest. I ran. I grabbed Lily, sprinted down the stairs, and waited outside until the parents got home. I told them everything. They didn't believe me. A few weeks later, I saw their house in the news. Family found unharmed after intruder breaks in through attic. Authorities say man may have been living there for months. Story 6, lights off equals you're safe. My family has this weird tradition. Every night at 3:33 a.m., all the lights in the house must be off. Doesn't matter if you're in the middle of something. You shut everything off. You don't move. You don't speak. You don't look. I never questioned it. Until one night, I forgot. I was gaming, headphones on, room lit up like a stadium. I didn't even notice the time. At exactly 3:33 a.m., my screen glitched. Just for a second. Then the power cut. Total blackout. I laughed. "Great," I muttered, pulling off my headphones. Then, I heard it. Footsteps. Not heavy ones. Barefoot. Slow. Careful. Coming down the hallway. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, but the screen stayed black. Dead. I sat there, holding my breath, praying the power would come back. That's when I heard whispering. "He's awake. He sees." The footsteps stopped outside my door. Then, creaking. Something was crawling under the door. Long, pale fingers curled in. I shut my eyes. Held my breath. Didn't move. The door creaked open. I felt something enter the room. The temperature dropped. My ears rang. I didn't move. I didn't look. For 3 minutes, it stood behind me. Breathing. Watching. At 3:36 a.m., the lights flickered back on. The thing was gone. The next day, I asked my dad what would have happened if I had looked. He didn't answer. He just said, "It never leaves if you see it."